Hello, friends, and welcome to this devotional with Chaplain Dan. I'm Dan Bonner, and as usual, I say at the beginning, I am so thankful and glad that you're with us today. I have heard around the assisted living dining room and the independent living dining room over the last number of weeks a question that I want to address today. It's not a question that has a quick one-word answer. It goes something like this. With so much division in our world, in our country, in many of our churches, with so much division, when Jesus said to love our neighbor as we love ourselves, how are we supposed to love somebody who is acting and believing so, well, I've heard different words. I'll just say out of sync with that particular person I was listening to's way of acting and believing? How can we love somebody who is undermining our country? How can we love somebody who is just a buffoon of a leader? How can we love somebody who seems to not know what they're doing and yet he's in positions of authority? That could be said about the church, about state, sometimes even about families. But I've heard that enough. I'd like to do more today in this devotional than simply say that Jesus told us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And I'd like to address the question this way. Who did God first love? Who did God first love? Now, I found that fascinating and helpful when I came across a passage that I had been familiar with for years, but frankly had not thought of in the context of us trying to love people who we're finding disagreeable. Who did God first love? And the answer to that, at least the clearest answer I'm aware of in the scripture, I'd like to share with you now from the 4th chapter of the letter of 1 John, back in almost the very back of the New Testament. 1 John chapter 4, verses 19 and 20 and 21. Who did God first love? That's the question today. We love, John writes, the believers, we love because God first loved us. Let me repeat that. We love because God first loved us. And then John goes on as if we need more after that. If anyone says, I love God, and hates his brother or sister, he is a liar about loving God. For he who does not love his brother or sister whom he sees, or the person who he has such vehement disagreements with, who he hears or sees, he who does not love them cannot love God, because God is unseen. Now think about that. God is unseen, and yet almost all of us would say we love and have a deep devotion to the Lord our God, and yet at the same time may have trouble with the second step John directs. And this commandment we have from him, that he who loves God should love his brother or sister also. He who loves God, not just in word, but in heart, should love his brother and sister, even if they disagree, also. It goes together. Loving God requires loving God fully and thoroughly, requires us working very, very hard to not see the disagreements in our neighbor's views, our others' views, but to forgive them and love them. Now for some, for me anyway, for some who God calls me to love as my brother and sister in the whole world, and we're not talking about members of your family who are brothers or sisters. I guess that's possible, but we're talking about anybody in God's human kingdom. If we hate them, we cannot love God fully. And if we desire, as we do, to love God fully, we must truly swallow hard our opinions, our pride, our sense of being right, and forgive and love our neighbor even though we may disagree with them strongly. And the reason for all of that, back to the 19th verse, is because God, in creating the whole of the universe, John says, God first loved us. It would have been so much easier for God to have loved the hummingbirds first, or the fuzzy bears first, or the gentle sheep first. But no, God loved us first. So we have work to do. And it's doable. by the grace and blessing and help that God can give us. This is Chaplain Dan. It's been a pleasure being with you today. This is I hope, a very practical lesson for all of us. I look forward to being with you next time. Remember that because God first loved you and me and that other cussed soul who we can't get along with, because he loved us all first, that bridge of God's love to the other, we can travel. May we try. God bless. I hope to see you next time. And have a good rest of your day.